The back and forth has got me so messed up. Don't ignore the signs. We've had enough of the whole damn thing that we got going. You hold the strings without me knowing. Why do I have to suffer through the thinking? Why do I have the feeling that we're sinking? I need to find a way. Find a way. Find a way. Find a way out. What's all this for? It's got me turned around, but I can't ignore the feelings that I found in this whole damn thing that we got going. You hold the strings without me knowing. Why do I have to suffer through the thinking? Why do I have the feeling that we're sinking? I need to find a way. Find a way. Find a way. Find a way out. Find a way out. Find a way out. Find a way out. Find a way out.
Light it up, light it up, light it up. Light it up, light it up, light it up. Cause lightning doesn't strike twice for you and I. The sun will rise tomorrow. Cause lightning doesn't strike twice for you and
Get ready for the second talk in 1 minute. Grab a cold one. Take your seat. Please welcome on stage DEVCLUB.EE's very own Edgar Stutinsky with his talk on burnout. Let's welcome him with a round of applause. But before we crack on, there's a whole bunch of merch from Riga Dev Days and also Monese over here. So special request from Edgar's, please take it. The more you take it, the less he has to bring back home. So the better for him. Alrighty, enough of myself. Please welcome Edgar's.
Okay, I will try without mic. If I'm too quiet, then let me know and I will take it back. Okay?
Yeah.
You heard me. That's good. Nobody else don't hear me. So those people who heard me, can you raise your hand? Okay, good. Okay, so here are my slides. Okay, yeah, I'm Edgar's. I'm organizing DEVCLUB.EE. So we, as you know, that good artists copy and great artists steal. So we are only good artists because we ask permission to use it. So not great. And then also we do 4 conferences. Biggest is Riga Dev Days. It's about, actually I have slides for it. I will show a bit later. So I placed my phone number. If suddenly you are shy and don't have chance to ask questions, just send it to number and maybe I will answer. Okay, about conferences. So first slide is about FrontCon. This is a JavaScript conference all around JavaScript. It usually happens in beginning of April. You can set date for next year if you are interested. Then we have Riga Dev Days. It's about Java. We have also dedicated track for .NET, databases, emerging technologies, and some more. So this is the real date for next year. And then we have completely new conference, payment conference. Usually what we have seen so far, fintech conferences there are tracks for business and marketing and blah blah. So we aim to have track for engineers, where engineers come and tell about how they have been dealing with particular problems, not so much blah blah, we have such cool product, come and buy. We hope we will not have any of selling presentations.
Payment is about payments or about what?
About payment technologies. Too early. And then most urgent conference is DevOps Unicorns. It used to be called DevOps Days Riga. We changed name. Nobody recognizes us. Big pain. So it happens already in 3 or 4 weeks. If you are interested, at the end of this week, prices are going up. So do it now. If you can't buy ticket without discount code, if your religion don't allow it, then just email me. We will solve the problem. Actually, I think there is promo code at DevOps.EU somewhere, yeah. And enough advertisement. Before we start, I have 2 questions. First one, who of you have right now or have had burnout? Okay. And who of you, for who of you it was diagnosed by doctor? Okay. Okay, 3 of us. Oh no, 4. Okay. So for those 3 who are experienced, maybe I will not tell anything new. But I will try to tell a story. So about me, I like to be in nature. I like to travel. I like to watch movies. In general, I'm very responsible, and I have very high, rather too high expectation towards myself and others. If you don't believe, ask my colleagues. I take projects and mistakes very personal, so good foundation for burnout. And before 2007, I was working in a telecommunication company in Latvia in different positions. Started with screwing cables in those boxes on streets. And last position was I was in sales. Then we founded a sponsorship agency, and as you can assume from the name, we were helping events to find sponsors and sponsors to find proper events. But in 1 year, we understood that market was not ready, and we were unexperienced, so we had to finish it. Then small time I was dealing with web development, and I disliked it quite quickly, because at that time those developers and designers whom I could find, they were very dependent on inspiration, and usually they didn't have it, so things didn't go smooth. And after closing sponsorship agency and web development, my friend invited me to help him with real estates and mortgage brokering. And so yeah, we were dealing with some real estate projects and also helping people find best mortgages. Some of people whom we helped later were not happy about that we helped them. But that's not our fault. That was about next slide, that 2007. So usually people talk about big crisis about 2008. In Latvia, crisis started at 2007, June 12, because at that day one of the laws was it started to work. One of the laws who was limiting accreditation, and so those projects which we had already confirmed in banks we could finish, but nothing new we could start. So in 2007 summer I lost 80% of my income, and when in 2008 some people were crying that they are losing like 30% of income, I was like, can we change? I would be happy. So that time was quite tough. I was involved in really many projects. Some of previous real estate projects had to be finished, and two projects, two kits. I got kits in 2009 and 2010, which are kind of not projects, but they still, yeah. So I think for good dad, 2 kits are more than 2 projects. And then I also was involved in different social activities, and sometime I worked in a business incubator as project manager and online marketing consultant, helping. So it was quite tough position, because usually people came and said, I need web page, and then I asked why, and then they were looking to me with big eyes and like what, why? Like everybody needs web page, and that's how we started to deal that do you really need it, and so very fun position. People come for money, not for advice, and we supposed to give advice and maybe money, so it was fun. And then at some point, maybe you know company Dev Training, they were coming to Riga, and Alec invited me to work for him, and so yeah, it's not really startup in like Monese or any technical startup, but it's kind of startup when it starts in new place and you have to do all around. And we started organizing DEVCLUB and organizing agile training, and I had to sell all this stuff, find sponsors and find people, and responsible for finances and selling all of this. So such work, much projects. No sleep, wow. So I wasn't doing only muscle. What I was training was this one for mouse, dealing with mouse. I wasn't doing anything to take care of my physical and my mental health. I was just working, and for quite long time I actually felt that I'm really tired, kind of burning out. And then strange things started to happen with my mood and health. One of the strange thing was that I had a sleeping disorder. I couldn't fall asleep, so It was going worse and worse and worse. I go to sleep and then I just lay in a bed for a couple of hours, hand is shaking or feet is going somewhere and just can't fall asleep. And so with time it goes worse and worse and worse because you don't sleep, you get more tired and it's harder to fall asleep. Then digestion issues. It was I kind of want to eat, but I don't want to eat, and I want to eat something, but I don't know what I want to eat, and friendship with toilet and all these things. And the next of strange thing was memory issues. So it was really hard to remember things I knew I know, or I know I knew, whatever. For example, I met somebody, I know his name, I know that I know his name, but I can't remember his name. It's just, I can do whatever I want, I can't. Sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't work, so some RAM issues. And then also issues with thinking, difficulty to concentrate. It was really, really hard to focus on something. Really hard to do work, just to write some email. It was, just can't take yourself in hands, you just can't. It's like everything where I have to use my brain is like, no, better don't do it. And then also apathy came. So if somebody would ask me what I want to do, my answer would be like nothing, like really nothing. I told before that I like watch movies. That time it was like I didn't want even to watch movies. I was so meh. Simply leave me alone. And then it came suddenly. It was around New Year's. I was at home. I remember I was standing, and at some moment I feel that I don't feel my chest anymore. It's kind of disappearing. And I don't feel it. And at that moment I realized that I'm really in trouble. It can't continue like that further. I should go to doctor. And yeah, and that feeling was also that I can die any moment. If I start to not feel my body, then what's next? And later doctor explained me that it's for such term, they have such term in medicine, fear of death. And apparently all those things I just shared, these are 7 main symptoms of depression. So there is no such diagnosis yet in somatic disease list as burnout. They have depression and some more, but usually when we say word depression, we think only about people who are in apathy and they can't really do anything, so we think about a bit different condition. I have talked recently with specialists, and they said it's just a matter of time when they will have diagnosis burnout as well. They have kind of agreed that it's a real thing, and it just takes time in medicine world when it will be officially named. So yeah, I went to doctor because it was really bad. I had this feeling that I can die any moment, and doctor said me that if you have 4 of these main symptoms, you have it. And but I had all 7. And only one I didn't mention before was bad look. She said like, yeah, all those 7 and bad look, and I was like, come on. Why do you say that? You could say 6 from 7, it's kind of enough. And she was really scared when she saw me first time. She was really like, okay, here are some pills, and in 3 days you'll come back, and then we think what to do next. And yeah, so that's probably the only time when I really scared my family doctor. And later, psychosomatics, because this family doctor, she couldn't deal, she didn't know really what to do. She described me some medicine, but then she was sending me to different specialists to find out. Yes?
May I ask, what was the medicine she gave you first?
I don't remember the name.
Like
Issues with memories.
okay.
So whatever you ask,
Gotcha.
if it's inconvenient question, then just, yeah. I really don't remember, but there was one thing was addictive. You start to use it small portion and then you go bigger, and then when you want to go out, it takes few months to minimize the dose.
But is it like some kind of high or just?
The one was
Does it have some like psychoactive effect on?
no, not in the sense that no fun at all. But the one thing she was giving was something which was dealing with these stress chemicals which are inside.
Cortisol and this kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay.
And another stuff what she was giving was more like for nerve system to calm me down so I can fall asleep finally. And just in a few weeks we stopped with this because I could already sleep. Yeah, one thing I wanted to say for this as well, that later psychosomatic, she told me that that people who have experienced fear of death, they, like everybody, take it serious and start to do something to never experience it again. So this is something. What I want to say with this, it's not just that I have been watching some horror movie for too much at that evening. It's really scary feeling which is inside of you because of this chemistry. In what condition you are at that moment. So yeah, for those others, not three, who didn't raise your hand, I hope you will never had it. Now we do revolutionary chopstick show. Much as promised, so we have to move this table closer. Just put it this way. Yeah, this will be fine. Something like that. I have in my kitchen certified chopsticks with me. I will break only one if suddenly we need another one later. Very serious stuff. Get ready. So,
Why we do this show? Can you explain?
yes.
People are getting bored, so.
Sorry? So who asked why we do? You asked why we do this show. There will be two parts. One part will be now and second part will be later. And the second part will explain more the idea. If I tell it now, then I kind of mess up the show. So we have, these are projects, these are responsibilities in our lives. You can think this is just water, but no, this is really about stress. So we will put in as many as it can hold. I will put closer these things just because it's easier to show the idea. So you can count how many we can put in. This will be a new job. So I got new job. And these are two kits, yeah. So I don't like this bag. It takes too much. Okay, this is new boss. And this is university. Calm down. This is a neighbor bought a new car. What should I do now? Just drive with my old one, or should I upgrade? Or and also these Note 10 Plus or Note 10 just regular, or still stay with previous one. This is not for everyone, but for quite often this is a thing. So I was called to school because my kids had fight. guys from neighbor department didn't deliver in time, so we can deliver in time now as well. The new boss apparently isn't very friendly guy, as it sometimes happens. So, how many you brought? 12?
Well, we can get some more. This is last one.
So, what is this one? What is this one? Ah, I have to give a talk at DEVCLUB. What if they will not like me? So, personal problems? What are personal problems?
You cannot fall asleep. Remember?
This is already a symptom, but that actually can be one more reason for stress. I cannot fall asleep. So we need some more bottles.
Is that fine if we use this one?
It's too heavy.
I mean,
These are plastic? No, these are.
who knew you would be such tough guy, right?
We can change a bit, you know. I have an idea.
Just drop it.
Yeah.
So somebody took something off from me, so I'm returning it back because I'm a tough guy. Okay, so we know that it could handle 11 things, right? Remove these because we don't need them now. I remove this. Okay. Is it okay if I stand here? No, it's not okay. Let it stay there. Let's move it back. So the idea was that with chopstick, as you understood, we lifted up projects. At some moment it breaks. So what to do to fix chopstick now? It's broken, so you have burnout. What to do now? So how can you be again back in work? Here are some ideas.
Get the metal one.
Sorry?
Get the metal one.
That will be a different guy. That's not me. This is me.
Get
So-
duct tape.
Duct tape. Okay. You're engineers and you're right. But if we talk about human, so duct tape is good for kids but not for adults, and also only temporary. But if you go now serious, so yeah, about burnout. Here will be some ideas now how to deal with how to avoid or deal with burnout syndrome. And as I told previously, there are several names how it's several similar diseases. Burnout, I call them sisters, like depression, burnout, vegetative dystonia, and some similar diseases which are mostly caused by stress. So main point to dealing with burnout is we have to deal with stress, and I mean with stress in two senses. One is this like mental thing, but another thing is those things you mentioned, the chemistry inside of us. So one of ways how we can deal with stress is limit amount of stress. So what does it mean? Yeah, it means you can do less work, or you can do less stressful work, or you can take less responsibility at your work, or you can get rid of some parts, maybe in personal life. Sorry?
Kids?
As an option, yeah.
Maybe at first you can not care about Note 10 and then about neighbor's car and some other things which quite often we still deal. So yeah, to limit amount of stress. So, and at that point, actually I don't have picture for pills because pills is like how it's like emergency solution. It's possible to avoid stress without pills. So I'm giving ideas how to avoid without pills. But for me, doctor, gave pills. I was taking them 1.5 years to finish. Now I'm 4 years clean. So don't worry, I'm not on hype right now. Then another idea, alcohol. So people say it helps. I don't commit. I'm a very passionate person. If I like something, it's very hard for me to stop to do it. Therefore, I don't even start with alcohol. I started with Pokemon Go in autumn. It took me 6 months to get out, and it was only Pokemon Go, no alcohol. Then parties and getting rid of stress. I have heard stories of people who really work hard for 6 to 12 months and then they go to some Rammstein or Metallica or Glastonbury for a week and party hard, and then they come back and they are cool and they can work again for 6-12 months. Another way how to deal with stress is our healthy hobby. It has to be something where you don't think about job or projects, something where you kind of plug off, where you can enjoy the activity and switch off from work. Then enough sleep. This is very, very important. For me, enough sleep is around 8.5 and 9 hours, somewhere there. So I have been trying less, doesn't work. And about sleep, what's very important about sleep, we have to have stable daily routine when we go sleep and when we wake up. If we mess up with that, especially with waking up, if we mess up with waking up, it's harder for our body to deal with that. And if we go to sleep in different times, then it's harder for our body to fall asleep. So if we go at the same time, it will be easier to fall asleep and sleep well. So yeah, I messed up exactly because I didn't go at the same time. So that was my weakness. And then one of things what doctor said me in very beginning about our body, that we are very adaptive, each of us. And if our body is strong, then our body can deal with these chemical stress inside of us. And so to be strong, we have to do sports. And especially for us, people with sedentary lifestyle. So all of you have it, if you didn't know. So sports is must be in your life, otherwise your body most probably will not deal with stress, even if you go hard with alcohol and party and hobbies. Just our bodies need activities. And yeah, for me personally, it is not enough Pilates or yoga exercises. I need cardio sports. 3 times per week is my minimum to be on a normal shape. And with cardio, I don't mean those crazy, let's lose all the calories of months in one day. These are already details. Don't have to be anything crazy. Like today morning, I just went cycling for 40 minutes, just watching my heart rate around 140, nothing much, just that my body works out. Yeah, and for cardio, as you know, best are cyclic types of sports like running, cycling, swimming, Nordic walking. Sometimes just walking is enough. It depends of our shape. And again, it has to be something where you don't think about those projects or work. In very beginning, I came to my doctor. I said, I'm walking every day from home to work and from work to home. So every day, 2 times 40 minutes. And doctor was like, doesn't count. I was like, why? What do you think when you go to work? About work? So that's why it doesn't count. Of course, it gives something at least. If I have to spend in commute 30 minutes or walk 40 minutes, then of course it's better to walk, but it's not enough to really deal with stress. Okay. And the last one thing, it's religion, faith, or relationship with God. About this one, people have many stereotypes, and most popular is I don't need that. I think there is a big difference between those three things, and I see that it really works if instead of being religious, we have really relationship with God. What I mean is that it can be there are several details, but in particular case, main thing is that we trust in God, and therefore we stress less about many different issues because we have this trust in God. So these are not all possible ideas. If you think more, you can find some more ideas. I just gave some bunch of them. So yeah, limit amount of stress, alcohol, don't suggest that one, parties maybe, healthy hobby, doesn't work for me. So I stay with last three ones. So I try to finally learn to go to sleep in time. It's always my weakness. And then yeah, sports and relationship with God. So now is the answer to Kirill's question, why we do breaking of the stick. So let's so I will try to fix it now. I will be very careful. I have done it before twice. So is it good?
You tell me.
It's almost as it was, isn't it? So how much can we put in it now? So I think most of you now think, are you stupid, or what? Why do we spend time on it? Because it's kind of obvious. But why I do this? Because when we talk about people, then we think, okay, it's kind of coming, this burnout, but then I will just rest a bit more than usually, and then I will be just the same I was before. But yeah, this is just to show it visual that it doesn't work that way. A bit closer, yeah. So it was 2, 6, 8, 9, 11. So how much we will put there? What's the guess? 1. I think 4, because I did it before. Two kids, yeah. So if you don't do nothing, just pretend that you have done something. Then 3.
Dad from Dad it is.
Yeah. So what I want to show is that broken is broken, and we don't think about our bodies when we get it. So usually what we think is that okay, I'm burned out now, or I have to finish this project, and the next one, and then actually I have heard that till 40 is the best time that the brain works. So I have to earn all the money till I'm 40, because later maybe I will not earn so much. So till 40 I just go, and then I will rest. But so I was comparing those two before, those two conditions, before it was broken, when it's broken, just to prove it, just to make it visual that broken is broken.
A question, please. So does it mean you never recover from once being burned out?
I will talk about it right now. Yes. So the problem with burnout is that you're starting. So you want to recover. You want to get stronger, right? So your starting point is this is not broken. This is 1. This can handle 9 bottles, and this can handle 3. So your starting point is much lower at the moment now when you start to take care of your health. So my feeling, my personal experience is that it seems that I will never be the same strong I was before. I could handle stress before, like, so really burnout I got 2000 something, so for 2014. So before 2007 it wasn't stress, it was fun, because it was booming time. So it took for me 7 years to burn out. Right now, if I do sports, if I sleep enough, if I take care of my health, physical and mental, so in spring I was in the best shape. I was 2 to 4 weeks from burnout. What I mean is that if I mess with my sleep and my sports for 2 to 4 weeks, then in 2 to 4 weeks I will be again in this burnout condition. So in spring I had issues with my knee, therefore I didn't do sports enough. So last week my condition was 1 to 2 days from burnout. Right now I'm 2 to 3 days, so my feeling. So when I talk with, I messed up a bit what I want to say. These are 2 last slides. So it's probably, by theory, you can get back the same strong as you were before, with all duct tape and neighbor metal stick with you and all sports and so on. And when I talked with specialists just before coming 2 days ago, I have a friend who is psychotherapist. I asked him, is it correct what I'm telling people? Maybe I'm lying. His only comment was that, person is not a wooden stick. It's alive, so it can grow back and it can become even stronger. And every crisis is actually opportunity to become stronger. But and I agree with him in a sense that if you take me before burnout or me after burnout and all those things adding on top, then I can become the same strong or even stronger than I was before. But if I would start to do that before, then my starting point was much stronger, so I can be much stronger. I don't have to leave work for a year to deal with burnout. I don't have to get rid of projects and choose kids or work. No. So therefore, yeah, actually I told the last slide. Therefore, my conclusions are 2 about my experience. That, first, as I said, broken is broken. Take it serious. If you will get it, you will regret it for long. It's not. For me, it took 1.5 years to stop taking medicine. I couldn't stop it quicker. And second point is, if you want to live happy life, better take care of your health before you're broken, because it will just be much better. That's it. Questions?
Any questions? How did you measure how much did you have until burnout again?
I have scientific method. No, it's rather with my experience, how I feel, my inner feeling, how I feel, my chemistry, what's my condition right now. So last week, I said last week it was like 1-2 days because I was already shaky, and that chemistry feeling was already around. I knew it's like a bit more and it will be tough. It will be definitely not where I want to be. Right now, I woke up today at 7. I have been working, I have been driving, I have been stressing, I have been talking now, and I'm not shaking yet, just a bit of adrenaline, so I'm in better shape than last week. That's how I measure.
Maybe comment a bit that sport is a very good way to deal with stress, too much sport can also bring you down pretty quickly, so be careful. Like if you go to gym 6 times a week and work, expect some bad things going your way.
Some friends told me, some Estonian friends told me that some time ago in Estonia you had this term professional amateur, right? About people who do sports. They are not professionals, they are kind of amateurs, but they do it more than professionals. So I completely agree. Too much it's not smart way to do sports. I have been there. I did it in the wrong way in the beginning.
There's something also that I noticed with alcohol and drugs, I believe, work in a similar way, that it kind of, you know, like in the beginning it helps you until it doesn't, and then you're back where you were, and also you have a drinking problem too.
So yeah, with alcohol and drugs, the thing is that you have to increase dose all the time. So
or at least keep it. Like you start drinking, like, and then you come back from work, it's like, oh, it's been a hard day.
I haven't met anyone actually who can stay on the same pace. I have met somebody who says, oh, I just drink 1 beer per evening, and then in 6 months, no, sometimes 2-3 beers per evening. So it, in theory, maybe it works, but in practice, I haven't seen.
But it's the same with sport. You just run longer and longer.
Until your knees start to hurt.
Or something else.
Who have maybe a question from myself to the audience? Who have successfully recovered from a burnout? Maybe share experience.
Or just recover it, but will not share it. But not really.
Because there's a lot of people raised hands like for burnout. Are you guys still being burned out?
Basically, I quit with job.
Do something different. I mean, completely different. If it's possible. I mean, start
The way
different project, different.
the way I did it, like I once got really bad case of burnout at work, and then I, like, it was so bad I quit and I joined another company as an engineer too, and then I was just, honestly, I was just fucking around there like for a whole year, like really spending very little attention to the work and taking really good care of myself, till I felt the passion towards programming again, and then I also got burned out another time.
After my talk in Riga, I did the same talk in Riga in DEVCLUB, so I'm organizer, it's easy to get there to speak. So one guy came to me and he said that he had it also. So 2 things. One thing is, when I asked who has burnout, like 10 people raised hand, and then I specified about the doctor said that you have burnout. I had this burnout before doctor, like 7 years. I had that it's coming, and probably most of those hands are about this. I kind of feel that it's coming, but I'm doing something. So this talk was especially for you. Start to do something now. But about what you just said, the guy came to me and he had said that he had it also, and diagnosed by doctor, and he is now in HR, and since he has personal experience in burnout, what he recognized in quite many people who are coming to interviews, that people are actually in burnout condition, they just don't know that yet. And what they are trying to do, they are trying to run away from previous place and running to this happy new place where will be happiness and just running around, but it actually doesn't solve anything. It has to be solved different way. Just changing projects doesn't change the problem.
I mean, yeah, you kind of, like take less responsibility and, prioritize your inner things like more, and this is how you kind of deal with it.
How many of you, so for those who raised hand that you feel burnout, how many of you do sports? All of those who, so you raised hand that you have burnout, right? you had, and you also do sports. Okay, so not everyone who, okay, I messed it up, so let's try it again. So who raised hand when I asked first question, do you have burnout or have had it? Okay, and then don't put it down, just leave it up. And now, if you do sports, then let your hand stay up, and if you don't do sports, put it down. Okay, this is good number. Enrique tried this. It was like who does sports, like almost nobody.
I mean, we're professional amateurs here. Like this one we figured out already. But I'll tell you more that I've been having this kind of burnout, very very apathic condition, maintaining very healthy lifestyle, doing sports regular, having healthy diet and good sleep patterns, and still just because of too much of work and responsibility, you kind of still have it. And for me, for example, like the only way to reduce it was just rest and rest more, and this is the way kind of it worked out for me.
How to put in slide rest. Forget it.
Any more additions, comments, questions? Maybe someone wants to share how they cope with their burnouts.
I changed my profession. I start traveling, meditation, more, not religion, but
Spirituality.
yeah, meditation. I said
Meditation.
I do yoga, I do sport,
And nervous programming, yeah.
and now I start programming.
So another like programming is like another way to burn out, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the club then. Maybe you want to share your experience.
You can tell that I also had the problem falling asleep, and I used to solve it by putting some like cartoons, South Park or whatever, something I've seen already before, but it's super low stress, and then I go to sleep, or YouTube videos, but not the best way, obviously. What helped me is meditating before sleep, just like 20 minutes stretching and meditating routine really made a huge difference pretty much like first week. Before bed, turn off all the devices, put some, Enigma music on or something like that, and just zone out. No computers, no TVs, no new information coming your way, and then falling asleep is 10 times as easy.
Okay. For me, reading a paper book also worked really well. Like, just plug out and read a paper book, half hour. All different. All right. Yeah.
I think that burnout is a very human thing. I think that most of us, if have not yet experienced, will experience some sort of burnout, be it physical or mental, because humans tend to try their limits. For example, if you start sport, you can injure yourself because you are so eager to get better results like you did with your knee. I think that many people who have tried sports have injured themselves. The same can be with your mental, with the things you do at work. You just try your limits. If you want to succeed, especially in your profession, you just try to work as much as you can and deliver as much as you can, and then you burn out. So I think that burnout is something that most of us experience.
I think that it's quite new thing actually, burnout. If you look at like statistics, like burnout is not in statistics, but if you look statistics of depression and all mental diseases, that like 50 years ago there was not so many of them. In Soviet Union countries 20 years ago there was no such thing as depression. You just work hard physically all the time, so
Well, actually, it was never reported on, but you never know.
okay, if there was, but then definitely not so high numbers as there are now. So it's rather.
All just drink and alcohol and that's all.
They didn't
Yes,
have
Soviet
An iPhone new iPhone coming out every year, so what's
Exactly,
worried about?
yes.
And they knew that they are getting new car in 6 years,
Yeah.
so they don't have to worry about neighbor.
You don't have anything to fight for because you knew you don't get anything. There was no purpose, but now you see the
This-
purpose always. Your neighbor got a car and you know that you can get that new car. So,
I think it's more related with this specific of lifestyle, of work style, that it's when we talk here, so most of us have sedentary lifestyle, except if you don't do sport, except if you do sport. So our work is thinking, much of thinking. So as I have heard about programming, that programming is not typing but thinking. So those depression and those things, these mental diseases are more for people who have this sedentary lifestyle and thinking profession, not working. I haven't met any how it's in English, the person who is cleaning street with burnout, because they have different specific of work. I haven't met any builder with burnout. They are thinking, but they are also working physically in that time, so it's different condition.
they are still thinking.
They are, but proportion is different than in our way. I'm not programming, but still my work is thinking and calling people, making them mad or happy.
So we can recommend programmers to clean sometimes around, right? We can recommend to clean around.
Yeah, just do your dishes and
Clean around.
yeah.
This is almost
Wipe
like
your own
sports.
desk
This should be counted as sports. Clean around. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Edgar, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
This
you.
one is to you. I know you have the entire box of those. But
Yeah, and adjust size.
There's something